Hi, everybody. Welcome to Life Stories Podcast Close to Home. I'm Shara Goswick, your host. My guest today is Lauren Kinnett. Lauren is a certified birth doula and a lifestyle coach, and she works with women in East Texas through their pregnancy, but specifically during labor and delivery. I know Lauren personally, and I can assure you that she is somebody you want by your side when you go through that labor and that delivery. Lauren is thoughtful and kind, but she's very wise and she's very helpful. She can remain calm when things are crazy, and she loves getting to encourage the women that she works with. This was a great conversation. If you are in East Texas and you are within the range of where she works and you know someone that might benefit from her services, I encourage you to check her out. You will love her. Thanks for being here. Lauren, thank you so much for talking to me. I have enjoyed getting to know you through Hope Center as we volunteered together. You have such a sweet personality, but you are so smart and so creative, and I just admire, all that you're doing. And I am excited to share about your services for East Texas because I know that you could help so many women in our area. And so you are a doula and a lifestyle coach, and you need to tell me how you got started, but also explain to me what a doula actually does because I don't really even know.
That's okay. I honestly didn't know what a doula was until a few years ago. So I'm kind of new to the role, but it's been really exciting seeing how God has placed this role into my life. But a doula is it's like a birth coach. So I coach moms through labor. I also assist, if dads need help or they need to break through the labor, or if mom wants dad to be more hands on. I coach through comfort measures. I coach through prayer, and I'm just that physical, um, support through the labor.
Okay. And I know I read a lot that about how you help through postpartum as well. And that's
Mhm.
probably a big deal helping women because okay, yeah, the baby's here, but now there's a whole slew of other issues that
Yes,
pop up.
especially when it's your first time being a mom. I think I can speak for all first-time moms, but that first time, we're just winging it. Like, we're learning as we go, and that's okay. But it can be lonely sometimes, especially if you don't have the right support system. I've supported clients that have a great support system with family. I've supported clients that don't have, any. And so helping postpartum, what that looks like, there are doulas that do overnight shifts. I'm not an overnight doula with a 6-year-old right now, maybe sometime in the future, but there are doulas out there that will do overnight shifts for moms to help with that quality of sleep, because we know what sleep deprivation does to us.
Mhm.
But just that light housekeeping and being a friend to lactation support. So I'm not a lactation consultant, but if mom has concerns with latching, I can offer support and then give her the referrals needed, because a lot of moms don't even know what a lactation consultant is. They're not. If you give birth at a hospital, you're provided one during your visit, but they don't even. A lot of people don't know that their insurance will cover a lactation visit at home.
Yeah. Is this something whenever you had your little girl, is this something that you like, did you have a doula? Is this something that you decided then this is what you were gonna do or
No, no, I didn't have a doula. I was winging it. I didn't do any of the birth classes. Me and my husband, we're just like, it is what it is. Let's just do it. And I didn't ask questions. I just followed the protocol, and I had a great pregnancy. I was blessed with a good birth. I did get, I had an epidural. Um, but knowing what I know now, I will probably try and hold off on the epidural a little bit as long as I could, just because my labor was progressing. And then once I got that epidural, it just kind of
Yeah.
slowed down a lot. But also, I was one of the only moms on the floor in labor that had the epidural. So I wasn't necessarily a priority. And then I think it was the postpartum nurse is what kicked off my postpartum anxiety,
Oh,
um, where I had issues breastfeeding. A lactation consultant did come to my room, but again, I just thought she was another nurse, which many lactation consultants at the hospitals, they are nurses that just have that extra certification. But again, I didn't ask questions, and then I didn't have the nicest postpartum nurse
mm.
that really kicked off my postpartum anxiety. So when I went home, I struggled a lot with, waking up in a panic to make sure she's still breathing. I had a lot of breastfeeding guilt, and it was just kind of a downward spiral from there.
Yeah. I will tell you, I took all the classes, and when I was in labor, I remembered nothing. So, you know, sometimes that's just the way it is. In the people that you've worked with, what is the biggest challenge do you think moms face when they come home from the hospital?
I would say connection.
Yeah.
I
With the
think
baby?
not necessarily with the baby, but maybe community
Yeah.
is a better word.
Yeah.
I think we get scared asking for help. We don't necessarily want to ask for help because we have that guilt that sets in, but we all need it and we all want it. I think in the society we live in such a fast pace, girl boss, self care society that it can be hard asking for that help.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you go back 100 years from now, that was normal. Like,
Right.
having moms and grandmas stay with you and aunts coming to your house and cousins and all the women coming together to help the new mother.
Yeah.
And if you look at other cultures, they still do that to this day. And then you look at us here in the United States, and we've really strayed away from that.
Yeah. I think all moms need that, and whether they think they need it or not, I think it's good to even just be there, have somebody there, you know?
Mhm.
I have read that you said you wanna help, parents take the reins in their birth and postpartum journey. What does that mean to you?
So the Take the Reins has a story behind it. I don't know
Mhm.
if you've seen that story or read it. It's been a while since I've actually reiterated it, but when I was, 17, I think I was 17 years old, I was going through like my first heartbreak, and my papaw, who I was very, very close with, had a heart to heart with me. And, he sat me down and he said, I want you to picture yourself on a wagon. You're going through life and you're going to go through all the seasons. There's going to be rain, there's going to be sunshine, there's going to be bumps in the road, and there's going to be detours, and it might feel lonely sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, but if you look to your right, you're not alone, there's God. And sometimes God allows us to go left to teach us to go right. All you have to do is take the reins.
Mm. Wow.
And I have held that close to my heart. And during my postpartum journey, I, you know, just so many things weren't going right in my life, whether it was my marriage, financials, my career. I was also caring for my sister Kelly at the time, and just just nothing was going right. And so I started asking myself, okay, let me stop asking what's wrong with me, but let me start asking what's not right. And then God was like, "Girl, take the reins."
Yeah.
So I did. I started looking at my life and making those little shifts and kind of going where God was leading me. Um, I took a demotion. I was working full time as a service manager for a very busy restaurant in Tyler,
Yeah.
Texas,
Wow.
and so commuting an hour back and forth. So working about 70 hours a week as a sleep deprived mom was a lot. Working
Yeah.
nights and weekends, and Um, I mean, it took a toll on me, and then but that was in denial because this was my career. It's what I always
Right.
knew. And my husband tried telling me that he was struggling and needing me, but in my head, I'm like, what am I gonna do
Right.
if I leave? Um, but God was really testing me. He really
Yeah.
was. And it's scary to make that change, but I did. I
It
took a
is.
demotion to where I got Sundays off. So, I went from salary to what they call hourly salary. And
Mm.
then, so I kept all my benefits for my family, my insurance and all that. But I took an extra day off work. And then I realized, wow, I can't tell you the last time I had a Sunday off. I didn't go to church.
Right.
And I realized once I kind of took a step back from my role at the restaurant, I didn't have community,
Yeah.
and ran into one of my husband's. We moved to Edgewood, which is where my husband grew up. I'm a city girl. But we moved here with our family. I realized I don't know anybody. me and my husband have been together like 10 years and I didn't know anybody
Yeah.
and had no relationship with my in-laws. Um,
Wow.
and ran into my husband's friends at the grocery store, and I just felt God saying, "Ask them." And I asked them where they went to church, and I've been going to that church ever since.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, but it's just kind of been a domino effect. The church is what led me to Hope Center,
Mhm.
and then Hope Center is what led me to being a doula.
Is it? I didn't realize that, I guess.
Yeah, so I knew so when I was making those shifts in my life, I was like, "Wow, this is awesome. Like, why don't other women know that all they have to do is like look at their life and see what's not going right and then make those shifts?" And that's what led me into life coaching. So I got became a certified health and lifestyle coach and didn't really know what I wanted to do with that, but
Yeah.
knew I wanted to help other moms. So then I pursued postpartum doula.
Yeah.
And then as I started working at Hope Center, I was like, wow, a lot of women in my own community, like right next door to me, have nobody. And whether, they're young first time parents or the father's not involved or
Yeah.
he's not here. He's just, there's women that don't have anybody and they're
Yeah.
going through it scared and alone and they have hopes that are taking the classes and doing what they can for the assistance, but at the end of the day when they're in that hospital room
Right.
where they're alone and that can be
Yeah.
scary and like my it what's what led me to pursue birth doula.
Yeah, I love that, and I mean, it makes perfect sense. I knew you were doing it while you were volunteering, and I didn't realize that's why, but it makes sense because it's easy to see working with the women there that a lot of them 'em don't have anybody, and they cherish that hour a week getting to be there with, just to have sometimes it was just to have somebody to talk to.
Yeah.
All the resources are awesome, but I get that. That makes a lot of sense. How do you help these moms feel supported instead of judged? I think as moms, it doesn't matter how old your kids are or what you're doing, there's always somebody that wants to judge or has a comment or a comparison or whatever. How
Hmm.
are you encouraging them in what they're doing that they're not going to be perfect?
Loving them like Jesus. I think, Jesus, when you go through the Bible, he met everybody with that love and grace. And I try to do the same, let them know, hey, I'm here for you. My job is to support the mom, whether she chooses medicated or unmedicated. That has nothing to do with me. My job is to support her choice, make sure she has all the options and she makes that informed decision herself. And then I support from there. Um, but I think it would be just leading them back to Jesus though too, like, "Hey, you are a child of God no matter what you've gone through, no matter how you got here in this position, you are
Mm.
loved and you're not alone." I think that's probably the first and most important step and just kinda building that rapport and relationship with them, like, my job isn't to sit here and judge your life choices. My job is to, lead you to Jesus and show you that, you can do this.
Absolutely. Somebody who's thinking about it, but they're not exactly sure. How could you encourage them to tell them whether or not they
Yeah.
need your services?
I ask them what their support looks like, who's gonna be in that room with you, and most of the time the dad,
Yeah.
the dad or the mom, the mom of the laboring mom.
Yeah.
Um, but what does their support look like? How do they handle under pressure? Because
Yeah.
if you're not gonna hire a doula, you need to have that strong support person who's gonna advocate for you. Do they know your preferences? Like if you're
Right.
sitting there at a 9, you're dilated to a 9 and it's go time and the doctor, you don't want Pitocin and the doctor comes in and is like, "We're gonna start Pitocin," but you're contracting, you're not really listening. Is that
Yeah.
support person going to advocate for you if there's an emergency? Because emergencies do happen.
Yeah.
Um, how does your support person handle under pressure? Have they taken the classes? And when sometimes they'll be like, oh well, my mom's had 5 kids. She's got this. you know, like okay, but does your mom stress you? Does she bring stress to the room or does she help like how do you get that oxytocin going?
Yeah.
So I kinda that's kinda where I start, like, who's supporting you and what does their support look like? What are your expectations, and are you confident that they'll, match that?
Yeah. I wanna ask you about your services and the area that you work and all that in just a minute, but do
Mhm.
you have a story, and I know you wouldn't share personal information, but a story that was meaningful that you just were like, "Okay, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing this."
Yes, I have a lot of them.
I'm sure you do.
I have a lot of I don't think there's one birth I've done that, I didn't cry at, with the
Yeah,
baby. It was just beautiful
it
life,
is.
God. But there's this one girl who the father of the baby wasn't there.
Mm,
And she was doing all the classes, and she was, like, notes on notes on notes. Like, she wanted to go natural. She had like, her dad was very supportive of her. That was her support person, was her dad. And, but she had a lot of people saying, "You can't do like, you're not gonna do it. Like, just
yeah.
wait. Like, when it's time, just wait." Um, and I got a text from her one night saying, "Hey, I think I'm having contractions." And we talked through it like, "Okay, just breathe, try to rest, trust, what is your body telling you?" So that was probably like 10 o'clock at night. Well, at like 9 o'clock in the morning, she's like, "Hey, we're headed to the hospital." And so they had about an hour drive to the hospital. I'm like, "Cool,
Yeah,
I'm gonna head that way."
yeah.
I get there, and when I, go up there, I'm like, "Hey, I'm here for so and so." They wouldn't let me in because she was a 10. Like, she was already
Oh my goodness.
like a 10. And I
Yeah,
said, "No, no, no, you don't understand. I'm the doula. Like,
yeah. I
let
got
me
you.
in." So they did. They let me in, and I go in there, and as soon as I walk in, her lights bright like
Yeah,
her eyes are brightened up, and she's like, "It's time. I'm doing it." And I'm telling you what, she pushed for not even like maybe 30 minutes. I don't know.
yeah.
And the baby was here, and she just that one when you have your baby, you just have that rush
Yes.
of, happiness, and so she was just excited and pumped, and her like, one of her first thing was obviously she's happy that her baby's in her arms, but she looks at her dad and was like, "I told you I could do it, like, in your safe, like, I told
Yeah.
you." She looked at me and she's like, "Thank you so much," and I was like,
Oh,
"Girl, you did it. I was here for 30
yeah.
minutes."
Right? That's amazing. I love that. I love that. Okay, tell me the areas that you will offer services to women.
So I try not to go over an hour from where I'm in
Okay.
Edgewood, Texas, so I
Okay.
try to stay in that 30-mile radius. Done Rockwall, Greenville, Tyler. I've done Sulphur Springs, but I try to just stay within that 30 miles. I've done Longview before, which was also one of my favorite couples to attend, but the it was a lot. It's an hour and a half drive for me.
That's long.
Just with a 6-year-old,
Sure.
it can be.
Sure. Okay, so are you there just for the birth? Do you meet with the moms ahead of time? Like, how often do you meet with them ahead of time? Do you do it monthly, or do you just when they need some support, or how does that work?
Yeah, so they, as soon as they hire me, they can text me, call me whenever they want. Now, when I do 2 prenatal visits, so you'll get one at 25 weeks with me, and that's where we really sit down with each other and kind of go over what does your birth plan look like, and we play a game. And then we do a second prenatal at 35 weeks, and that's where we really say, okay, this is the plan. My
Yeah.
preference is I say plan loosely because, plans change,
Sure.
especially in birth.
Yeah.
But it's typically, I prefer me, mom, and dad to be present at the prenatal.
Right.
Just because if it's going to be us three in the room, we really need to
Yeah.
kind of be on the same page. So those 2 prenatals, I'm there for the birth. So from their due date, 2 weeks up until their due date, I'm on call. So I don't go out, I don't travel, I don't,
Yeah.
just for those 2 weeks on call until the baby's born.
Okay.
And then I do one postpartum visit. I like that postpartum visit to be within a week of them being home.
Yeah.
Um, but that's all.
That's awesome. I know just knowing you're gonna be there, just knowing that you are a text or a phone call away, I know that that brings them so much peace.
Yeah.
having yeah. What about your lifestyle coaching program? Is that completely separate then?
Yeah, I don't really I haven't necessarily pursued that in a few years.
Okay.
I am certified,
Yeah.
and I have 2 journals on Amazon that you can actually buy.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome.
Yeah, and that was just like, I needed God to show me, "Hey, you're not just the girl at the restaurant, you have other gifts." And so those were just something that I put together and just to try. So those are out there. I don't necessarily promote them, but, I think going through that training has helped me as a doula connect
I
with my
bet.
clients more and really, help them through those, any fears that they might have or, limiting beliefs that they go through.
Sure. Those journals, are they just pretty blank journals, or do you have things written in them? Like, what are those?
Yeah, one of them, it's called Mom Formations, and,
That's awesome.
it says, "'Cause this bad word gets cray cray."
Yeah, it does.
So there's that one, and then I have another one that's so the Mom Formations one is just you open it up and you can just write in it.
Yeah,
The other one, it's a wind down journal, so it's to
yeah.
create better nighttime routines.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you can journal every night, but also, it just kinda guides you to winding down your thoughts in your head.
That's really good because I know that's one of the best times to do that is at night before you go to sleep. So you're not awake at 3 o'clock like I am sometimes thinking about everything on the planet.
I think
That's
all moms
awesome.
are.
Yes.
You're like, "Oh, did I forget mustard on the grocery list?"
Oh my gosh, I know. It's just, yeah, it's fun. Is there anything I haven't asked you about that you want to tell me about?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I love what you're doing. Going through going through pregnancy, going through labor and delivery it's hard sometimes, and you do feel alone even when you have a supportive partner, you have a supportive family. It's still you that has to do everything. I think God gives us 9 months to prepare, like, because it takes that long to pump ourselves up for what we're gonna have to go through. So I think how you're helping these women is so powerful. It's so good.
Thank you. Oh God.
I
So I will say, going back to community and that support, that's something that I feel like we really lack here in Van Zandt County. I mean, there's churches that have mom groups and stuff like that, but there's nothing really I found beyond that. So I went on to one of the Canton, Texas mom groups. And I was like, hey, give me all your mom groups, like mom meetups. And they were all virtual.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
no, like, where's our in
No.
person?
Yeah.
We need that connection. So, I'm really proud of Hope Center. So they're doing a mom walk. Have you seen that?
Wow, no.
The 16th, I think they're gonna do it once a month, but they're gonna
Okay.
have a monthly mom walk. Um,
Awesome.
you'll have to go to their page because they have it posted on there. And
Okay.
then I've talked to Holly about doing a birth prep class once a month. So,
That is
open to
awesome.
open to the community, like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be a client at Hope Center, but let's bring moms on the same journey together because, you gotta take the reins.
I think that is so smart. Are you doing it at Hope Center?
Mhm, yeah, we think
Okay.
so our first one kicked off last Monday. Was it last Mon the 23rd? Whenever that was, and, we did it at Sea Life Church, but I think we're just gonna do it at Hope Center moving forward.
Okay. Well, when I post, I'll have your information. People can find you, but I'll make sure and have those links because that's so important. Especially if there's not any mom connection groups in the area. I mean, we need that. Moms need that. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. I love that. Lauren, thank you so much for talking to me today. You're
Thank
awesome.
you.
I'm
This
so
was
excited to talk to
fun.
you. Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Okay. Bye bye.